Good morning, my Facebook friends. This message is actually for those of you who are not part of our privacy and security community, because I hope you've already done what I'm going to talk about here today. But what I found as I've been in Temple, as I've walked on the street, as I've run into average folks who go about their day doing their jobs, but who've been reading about the access to email that the Russians, that hackers have been able to obtain to a wide range of people. And we've been cringing as we read these very personal messages that are now out there online being discussed. So many of us probably know that it's always something we ought to be doing a little bit better of a job, but we don't take the time when we go throughout our day and we think maybe it's complicated. So folks have said to me, well, what could I really do that would make a difference? So this quick message is for the real people out there, not our privacy and security geek friends, but listen in and maybe you guys have some tips and can help update sort of the broader community. The two things, I know we call this one thing, but there are really two things that you really should do that are not so complicated that would make an incredible difference. Let's talk about your password. Here's what you do. We know what you do. You cannot keep in your head thousands of complicated passwords. You use the same password, or maybe you've got some little system and you're using some variation of some password at many, many sites. In fact, every time someone wants you to create an account for some quick, low priority, you use that same password, right? No big deal? Quite a big deal. Your security is only as good as that weakest link. One of those sites is and probably has already been compromised. So the bad guys have that password and they're testing it, or variations of it that maybe are a little bit more complicated, right? They're smart, and they're using it to try to get into your online bank. They're trying to use it to get into your online email, and you are at risk. You cannot, unless you are one of these brilliant people with a super complicated system, or frankly, you're walking around with a notebook and you got all your passwords in there. Not ideal, but frankly better than what most of us actually do. So here's what you need to do. You need to go right now, please, and download a password manager. LastPass or Dashlane. Read the reviews. There are a few. Those are two fairly popular ones, Dashlane, LastPass. It will create really hard passwords for you, and it will enter them, and you don't even need to know them. Frankly, they should be so hard that you don't need to know them, and they will provide a different complicated password. Oh my God, though, you say to yourself, if someone gets into my password manager, I'm screwed. Well, first of all, that's where you're going to create a really hard, nearly unbreakable password, and you'll write it down and you're going to stick it somewhere in your wallet or somewhere hidden, or memorize that one, and you are going to be far better off than the alternative, which literally has left most of us sitting ducks. So download a password manager. For a while it was inconvenient because you wanted to log in on mobile and your password manager was only in your desktop. Today, sometimes for a very small premium, you can use a mobile one. You can use one that will let you log in from anywhere. The more security-minded will often use one that only works on your computer, so that all the passwords are stored, encrypted, and locked in your computer, and there is no way for someone to even access it remotely. For others, the convenience of being able to go and do your mobile banking or the like. But you are far, far better off, in my view, and in the view of many security experts, than the alternative of playing this game, which frankly has failed. Okay, get a password manager, number one. Number two, here's what you can do. I know we said one thing, but there's really two. The bad guys will, in the end, despite perhaps your password manager and despite all your complicated efforts, they're going to send you a phishing email, a spear phishing email, meaning one that is actually targeted to you. They've looked at maybe your Facebook information, your Instagram, they know something about you, they've sent an email. It can be really hard to discern, and now, unfortunately, you have logged in to the bad actor's account. What many of the leading providers do, your Gmail account, your Facebook account, hopefully your company, they provide a second code, a second opportunity, two-factor authentication, the technical folks call it. The first factor is that password. but the second one is an additional something. And what typically the bigger companies will do, the big email providers, is they'll let you log in the way you usually do, but if they see something unusual, the login is coming from somewhere abroad. That's unusual. Now maybe it's you traveling, but maybe it's a hacker. The login is coming from a browser of the sort you never use. It's coming in at a strange time. Something is different. They will then trigger, hey, we're not sure this is you, do something else. Now, the something else very often is, let us send you a text message, and that's probably the most widespread and it's the easiest thing. You've got your phone with you. Frankly, it is not unbeatable. I think for most of us, it's actually a pretty good and convenient way. The bad actors have ways, frankly, of trying to spoof, trying to get the phone company to give them access. It's a lot harder, and frankly, for most of us, it's probably useful. But I will note that NIST, the Department of Commerce division that works on standards, has flagged the fact that the real baddest of bad actors are working around that. Another alternative, and Google and Facebook and others provide this, for instance, for those of you who have those accounts, is a code generator. In fact, if you've got your phone with you right now and you've got your Facebook open, go to the settings page and scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see code generator. And perhaps you've had the experience of logging in to Facebook from abroad or from a new phone and then getting this request, give the code. And you simply scroll down and it's a unique code that is generated using an algorithm on your device, and obviously the bad guy does not have this with them. So please, two things. Download a password manager. It is, for most of us, far better than the complete mess that we've made today, where we've put all kinds of bad passwords out there, and somebody who gets into your email, now you're thinking, well, I'm not John Podesta, I don't have anything exciting in my email. You know what? That email is probably what your bank has to reset your password when you can't get into your bank. So once I've got your email, I may go and try to log into your bank account, and then I've forgotten the password, and I get a reset message, and it's sent to you. So the challenge is thinking about it solely as, hey, my bank will be locked down, but my email, these accounts end up all being tied together. Your phone, one leverages the other. The weakest link is the way the hacker will start a path of trying to get into your most vulnerable and most secure accounts. So password manager, Dashlane, LastPass, just give a little bit of a search if you want to try the others. They've got decent reputations. Choose, and frankly, they will encourage you to choose a very hard password. And then, hey, forget about all your passwords. Rely on the password manager to make really hard ones. And then the second thing that you can be doing, and please just take a minute to do this, and why am I asking you in addition to it being good advice, is because when you get hacked, it's your Facebook account or your email account that's going to ping me and the rest of your friends saying, hey, I need you to help with this, and so on and so forth, and you'll fool us, or frankly, you'll be able to see our personal information so that spear phisher can target a really special attack. So there's almost a herd mentality here, like with inoculation, where we all need to put up our defenses. So password manager, and then two-factor authentication. Your email provider, if you have a personal email account, usually has it, but you need to turn it on. Please take a minute to Google it or to look for it in the security settings of your Facebook or your Twitter or your other accounts. Turn on that two-factor authentication, either providing your phone so that they'll text you or by using one of the code generators. It ends up being a hassle sometimes. For those of us who have many devices, you get a new phone, it thinks you're new, it thinks you're a stranger, and all of a sudden you're going to be texting and kind of logging in. But once you do so and they recognize and remember that browser, it recedes into the background unless there is perhaps an unfamiliar attempt. Anyway, two quick things. Please take a minute to do it. And those of you who are the security and privacy geeks in my community, if you've got something to add here or you disagree, you've got your favorite method beyond that Internet Password Manager notebook, welcome your thoughts. Our communications team will post a link to the NPR Marketplace interview where Peter Swire, one of our senior fellows, one of the leading privacy academics in the world, another good friend, Aviva Lighton, Gartner security analyst, and myself, talk a little bit about what companies are doing given this greater awareness of the risk of bad folks accessing your email. Have a great day.